welcome to Very Vegan with Terry. I'm Terry. Today I'm going to show you how to do a Mexican style spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash is something you can substitute for pastas. It's low carb, it's high in fiber, it's got a lot of good vitamins in it for you. So it's actually really simple to make, and you can use it in any recipe that calls for pasta. So let's get started. This is a spaghetti squash. Find it in your produce section. It's over with your acorn squashes, butternut squashes, any other kind of squash. You can also find it by pumpkin in October. I've already cut the end off of this one because it makes it easier for me to slice in half. And then I usually just put the rind, anything I'm not gonna put in the oven, I put that in a just regular old grocery bag. If you have a garden, you can also use the insides, the seeds, for compost. You can use it for mulch. You can take the seeds and plant them and grow your own spaghetti squash if you're in an area that'll allow you to do that. So to get this tender so we can get the yummy spaghetti-like strands from the inside, we're gonna have to cut it first, cut it in half, get the seeds out, and then we're gonna put it into an oven. So I just grab a really big knife. Okay, this is what it looks like on the inside. It's very stringy. The seeds are like pumpkin seeds. The insides are very similar to a pumpkin. So if you ever carved a pumpkin, you'll have a general idea as to what this looks like. Just scoop these seeds out, and you can kind of start to see the strands that are going to come out of this later on. I'm gonna get the other. I'm gonna place this face down in my glass container here while I get the other side. And I like to add a cup of water into the bottom of the pan. It just helps it to steam and just helps it to get softer sooner. That's my oven. Let's preheat it to 350 degrees. I'm gonna put this in for 45 minutes. While it's cooking, I'm gonna make the guacamole that's gonna go on top. Okay, we're gonna make the guacamole. We've got 2 avocados, a can of dark red kidney beans, some chopped onion, a half teaspoon of garlic powder, half teaspoon of onion powder, some cilantro, and a half teaspoon of cumin, and then we're gonna have some lime juice. So we're gonna start with the avocados. When you're buying an avocado, you want to give it a good squeeze. Hopefully it has some give, but not be too squishy. You also don't want it really firm either. Another way you can tell if it's ripe is if you can see this little knot right here. This pulls out, and then you can kind of see the inside. Hopefully you're able to pull out enough so you can see if it's green or not. Most of the time I can't, to be honest with you, but that's another way to tell. This one's here a little too sunk in, but that's all right. So I'm just gonna cut this in half so I can get the quote-unquote meat out. And I'm just gonna take a spoon and scoop this out. A neat way to get the pits out of an avocado is just put your avocado half down, squeeze on the other side, the pit comes right out. I'm vegan, but I still use meat tenderizers once in a while. That's what I'm going to use to mash up this avocado, is a meat tenderizer. I didn't want to give up all my tools when I stopped eating meat. Now we're going to add our can of dark red kidney beans. I always buy the no salt added. You really have to dig through the grocery store to find that though. Mix that in. And you're going to add in your spices, which again are a little bit of chopped onion, some cilantro, a half teaspoon each of garlic powder, onion powder, and cumin. Get that all mixed in there. You just want like all the spices blended in evenly. Keep this tasting fresh. We're going to put some lime juice on it. Now, when you're buying a lime, you want to look for a fairly even color. Darker the green, the better, but you definitely want to look for an even coloring. I just slice this lime in half, and I get my citrus squeezer, or citrus juicer, and just squeeze that juice out. Okay, give this another mix. Now I'm going to cover this with some cling wrap or saran wrap, and it's going to sit in the refrigerator until the spaghetti squash comes out. Okay, the spaghetti squash has come out of the oven. I've let it sit for a little bit to let it get nice and soft and cooler to the touch. I'm still going to use a pot holder because I have really sensitive skin. So just take a fork. Just going to take a fork and you're going to start shredding the spaghetti squash, the insides is going to end up coming out really easy. You want to try and get as close to the skin as you can so you can get as much of the meat out as you possibly can. Yeah, some shells fell out. That's all right. You can see that it starts to look like spaghetti. And just get all that yummy squashy goodness out of there. And you can see that I've gotten the majority of the spaghetti squash strands out of there. Still a little bit more. And we're just going to do the same thing to the other side. Mix it up a little bit just to make sure there's no big clumps. You're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, a 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder. Get that mixed up so the spices are evenly blended. And just put on a plate or serving dish. This meal serves 4 people. Then you're just going to put a dollop of the guacamole on top. And dinner is served.